What's good? Welcome back to Top Title Sports. I am Eric Vincent, here to recap yet another Detroit Lions victory this past Sunday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Another convincing W, another road W, 20-6 final score by the Lions. 3-0 on the road now. All convincing victories, man. 5-1 on the season. It can't get no better at this point for this team where they are. They're winning and playing so well, it makes the Seattle loss not even hurt that bad anymore. It really don't matter to me at this point. The Lions are, I don't even want to say they're overachieving because I feel like that's a disrespectful term to add. But the Lions are playing some damn good football, and they playing like they ain't scared of anybody in the NFL. And at this rate, they shouldn't be, man, with the way that they are playing on both sides of the ball. Game ball to me got to go to the defense, being able to carry the load the way that they did, being able to hold any team to 6 points, any team being held out of their own end zone in their own building is an impressive feat by the defense. Baker Mayfield never really got comfortable, man. 19-37 for him, kept the rushing attack to 46 yards. No back-breaking plays by Tampa Bay. They managed to turn Baker over in the game early. They didn't let him get comfortable late in the game, even though they were trying to rally and build momentum. Lions made play after play, especially when they needed it most. Secondary played really well. Cam Sutton broke up a lot of huge plays. Tracy Walker with some huge tackles in the fourth quarter. I was super impressed with everything that I saw from the defense. That front four still getting after it, limiting the rushing attack, and that's been their identity all season. If you control the clock, you can get them off the field, which they did. I mean, they were 2 of 12 for Tampa Bay on third down? That's elite right there. That's elite defensive football right there. And the Lions should be hanging their hat proudly for what they did against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Aaron Glenn, again, we talk a lot about Ben Johnson in the Detroit Lions community. Aaron Glenn deserves so much credit for how he's been able to revamp and rework this defense to suit what works for the players on the roster, especially dealing with the injuries that they have. With no CJ GJ, no James Houston, you lose Brian Branch for an extended period of time. We don't know when he's going to be back. And the next man up mantra is working just fine because these guys are playing inspired football. Blitzing DBs off the edge, bringing pressure to Baker Mayfield, making sure he doesn't get comfortable. Because Tampa Bay tried to play early where they could just get the ball out of his hands and try to attack the defense quickly in the zones that they were playing. And towards the end of the game, after they had to deal with a double-digit or 2-score deficit, they had to play different, and they were able to blitz and get more pressure on Baker, which made things a lot easier for that defense for the Detroit Lions. Hats off game, man. That was an awesome display by the defense. Again, keeping anybody out of their own end zone, limiting them to 3 points in the first half, just 3 more in the third quarter, and nothing in the fourth. Shout out to what this defense has done. And Aaron Glenn, you deserve a lot of credit for what you've put together in getting these guys inspired and ready to play. Love the way they schemed up. Love the way they're playing right now. Offense deserves the credit too. Again, we're talking about the injury bug, and we see how it's been going along. You see what's happened with Jonah Jackson. He missed time. David Montgomery got injured in the game off the screen pass, and looks like he had a rib injury, which apparently his x-rays came off negative, but I'm still going to assume that they're going to make him sit for a little bit. You have the bye week coming up in 2 weeks. They're probably going to give him a little bit more time to rest up and get back to 100% so they can get a workload ready for him when he gets ready. But what we saw from the defense was nothing short of spectacular. And the offense, everything that we saw from the offense was nothing short of spectacular. This is a game where I said to myself, if Jared Goff is able to carry the bucket in this kind of game where you don't have your running game, you don't have total familiarity with all the weapons around you, meaning Jameson Williams, who we'll talk about in just a second, and you're still managing to make big play after big play after big play, Goff deserves all the credit in the world. This is the best game he's played all season. This wasn't just a game manager, efficient type game that he was playing. This was the best game Goff has played all season. 30 of 44, 353, 2 touchdowns. made Amon-Ra St. Brown look super dangerous, threw a lot of tight window throws to Amon-Ra St. Brown, especially for first down conversions. They were surgical together. Seeing what Amon-Ra was able to do, the way he was able to get open, the way he was able to spring open for big plays and run after catch ability. I told my friend this the other day. Every time I watch Amon-Ra St. Brown, I get so many just resemblances of him and Hines Ward when I watch him play. They're the same type of player if you put their highlights together. And I love having this kind of guy on the Lions roster as their leader, as their go-to receiver. Looks like a top 10 receiver. Could be trending towards 5 if we being honest, because the way he plays, he looks uncoverable. And I love watching the way he goes after it. Same thing with Jared Goff, man. Again, I've been a little hesitant towards giving the Goff love and stamp of approval that a lot of other people have given him on social media. But after this game, man, I can't handle him no more. I was a little bit reluctant towards the idea of giving him a huge contract reminiscent to a Derek Carr, what he got, or any of the other big-time players that they got in the league in terms of what their contract extensions were this offseason. Lions don't have a choice at this point. Goff is playing arguably the best football of his career, and he's carrying the load as the leader of this football team, at least on the offensive side for sure. He is playing fantastic. And again, this is with so many changes coming at the offensive line due to injuries, losing receivers due to injuries, losing basically every running back on your depth chart due to injuries. We don't know when Jahmyr Gibbs is going to come back. And Goff was able to say, you know what, hey, if I got to go carry it on my own, I'm going to carry it on my own. And he made play after play after play. And it wasn't no Brock Purdy type plays. He was out there making things happen, trying to improv the best he could against a pretty good defense, a very physical defense, a very aggressive secondary. And he made a lot of plays that you don't see a lot of quarterbacks make against the Tampa Bay defense. I was super impressed with everything that I saw from Goff, man. Again, with all circumstances considered, it's not a crazy argument to say that the man can't be considered an MVP candidate at this point, because the guys that were in front of him either just got hurt in Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy, or they played like BS in Jalen Hurts. So they're coming down at this point. Tua's still high in the conversation, and I'm sure there's still some names. But at this point, with the consistency of the Lions and the consistency of Jared Goff, it's kind of hard to keep him out of that conversation for MVP. I'm not saying he's at the top of the list. I'm not saying he should win it, but he got to be in the conversation at the very least at this point. Because, again, you want to see him be able to make some plays when you need it most. And what we've been really waiting for him to do was get that big play player active and involved in this Detroit Lions offense. And what did we see in the third quarter? We saw Jared Goff throw a 45-yard bomb to Jameson Williams on his second game back of the season for a huge back-breaking touchdown to take away the spirit of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I would have bet every dollar in my pocket, because at this point of the game, it was still a one-score game. It was 10-6. Lions had the football. And I'm willing to bet with you any amount of money that you want to put up. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers coaches were on the sideline saying, hey, as long as we can keep this close, as long as we don't need Baker to play too aggressive and we can just stick to the simplistic style of our playbook and not have to do too much and keep this game close, we'll be just fine. I promise you they said that. And as soon as Jameson Williams caught that touchdown, I promise you that broke the Buccaneers' spirit. It broke it right there. Because at that point, they had to change the way they were playing. They weren't able to rely on their run game because the Lions held them in check all game. They weren't getting any big plays down the field because Baker was either overthrowing guys, or Mike Evans was dropping passes, or the secondary was just making good plays and breaking things up. But as soon as it went to a 2-score game and they had to change their philosophy, I promise you they started to panic and their spirit was broke. That play Jameson Williams made was huge. After coming off of a drop that he had, which was a horrible pass by Goff, but whatever. After that drop that he had in the previous play, moving forward to that touchdown where he streaks down the field, turns his head twice, contorts his body around, and makes a contested catch in the end zone to go up 17-6. Huge play. That turned the whole tide of the game. That turned the entire tide of the game. Any momentum that the Buccaneers thought they had at that moment, it went out the window. right after that touchdown. And nobody needed that kind of play more than Jameson Williams. Again, the Amon-Ra St. Brown play was awesome. That was a really cool moment, watching Craig Reynolds spring him open for that block and the touchdown run. But this play right here crushed the will of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm willing to bet and put anybody on the line that that's a fact, because what they were able to do was tremendous, and I can't take anything away from how he played, even with just 2 catches. Again, whatever it is for J-Mo to just be this one big play guy every year for the Lions, or the first couple years for the Lions, it seems to be his mantra. But as of right now, the Lions don't have to sacrifice too much in order to get him involved. I do want to see him get more involved than just maybe 2 catches, but as of right now, that's all they need. They're not having to ask too much of him. Even when Amon-Ra was injured last game, just fit in with the team, do what we need you to do, and we're going to get here for a victory. And that's exactly what happened. I love seeing it happen, man. J-Mo needed a big play like that. The Lions needed a big play like that. And they needed a win as big as this one, approaching their bye week with the injuries that they're dealing with. One more game to the bye week. They got the Baltimore Ravens, if I'm not mistaken. I think they got the Ravens and the Raiders and the Ravens, if I'm not mistaken. They got the Raiders and the Ravens before the bye week. And then after that, they get a little bit of time to relax. Hopefully they get guys like Brian Branch back. Hopefully they're getting closer to getting a James Houston back to get some more depth in that defensive line. But the Lions are at a point where they shouldn't be scared to play anybody. Anybody. I ain't just talking about the NFC. You went on the road and beat the Chiefs on Banner Night, the Super Bowl champs. You were able to destroy the Packers in their house of horrors that's been historically brutal to the Lions by double digits. The last 4 games Lions have won have all been by double digits. That's got to be some kind of historical record there. That has to be something huge, because the way these guys are playing, it's one thing to just squeak out fluky victory after fluky victories like the Vikings last season. The Lions are winning in convincing fashion in all 3 aspects. Even when they make mistakes, they're able to recover and capitalize and make sure they stay in front for a victory. This is totally different Lions football that we're seeing, and I am in love watching it all right now, man. What a great time to be a Lions fan. It's lovely right now, man. But talk to me in the comment section. I'd love to hear your feedback. What are your thoughts on the 5-1 Lions? How far do you think they can take this thing? How many wins do you see at this point? And could you maybe even call the Lions the best team in football right now? I'd say you could, but I want to hear what you think. Talk to me in the comments. Make sure you like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Try to make our way up to 100 subscribers by the end of 2023, and we would love to make that happen with your support. Hit us up, talk to me. I'd love to hear from you, Lions fans, and even if you're not a Lions fan, we'll be able to talk to you anyway. We appreciate the love. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you being here. I'll see you again soon with another video right here from Top Title Sports. Peace.